This is David Morgan with you with Market 1 Minute, and to my right, a familiar face, Dr. Peter Megaw. I won't brag. I will brag for him. He's very modest, but he knows more about Mexico and Mexico silver than anybody on the planet, and I guarantee you that's a true statement. But before we get to Mexico and silver mines, I want to talk about what we've talked about and tried to do, or did do, long ago in the Morgan Report, because Dr. Megaw, Peter, as I referred to him, said, "Do you know about Archie's rule?" And I said no, but he'd always taught me way back in the beginning as a PhD, edit that, as a PhD geologist, that grade matters. Of course, growing up and being invested in the metals markets for over 40 years, I know the adage, grade is king. But I didn't have any reference, and with an engineering background, pretty strong math background, he said, "Did you know about Archie's rule?" And I said no, and explained it, and it was just succinct. We did a whole interview, and I wrote it up and have a special report. Everyone that's a member of the Morgan Report gets to see Archie's rule. Print it out, you can see the graph, you can print it out, you can put it on your desk. But unfortunately, from my experience, even though grade is king, even though that you have a set curve that shows you when you should be investing in a mining company and when you should stay away, people still seem to fall in love with stories. This mine is going to this, or this project's going to that, or my uncle's brother-in-law's sister told me how good this project's going to be, and on it goes, although we really try to stay away from that. So that's the introduction. I'm talking too long. Peter, let's go through why grade matters so much.
Grade matters because grade gives you an economic underpinning that gets you through, put it succinctly, grade gets you through times of no money better than money gets you through times of no grade. If you have something that makes money under the worst market conditions, then when market conditions are wonderful, that just means you make even more money. Grade lets you sleep at night.
Very good. So what would you say, and this is me, I'm guilty of this, it's in my first book, I can't take it back, but I did talk about the leverage factor, and if you are a marginal mine and prices go up, you do have a little bit more leverage, because what was uneconomic at $20 silver, and once they get to like 40, where they're barely economic, you get above that, then you're starting percentage-wise to be more, lucrative above ground. I mean, it's a math situation, but again, that's not the way to invest. Those are speculations. Any comment on that at all?
Well, I have a couple of comments on that. First of all is that if what you're doing is shooting for that time in the market cycle when the curve is going up, you're only investing in about a quarter of the market cycle, because the market cycle goes up and then it goes back down again. If you've got adequate grade to keep you alive in the worst of times, all you're doing is making lots of money when the market is doing well. And the other thing is that, as we saw in the last market cycle for silver especially, people believed if the silver price gets to 40 or 50 or $60, then this 150 gram deposit will be economic. And what they didn't count for is the fact that operating costs went up 10 to 15% a year. And you're talking about Archie's rule, the curve gets very flat. And if you're under the curve and the curve keeps moving away from you as you're trying to chase it, you're always chasing the curve and you're never getting on the right side of it. But it's probably worth reminding people what Archie's rule is. It's a very simple rule of thumb. It's called different things in different companies. Archie Bell was the vice president of exploration for Noranda, and that's the school we came up with, so that's what we call it. But it basically very simply says you must recover at least twice your all-in operating costs.